Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Just informing all of you that this session will be recorded.
SN Aboitiz Power, powering positive change for 14 years. And it began with a phone call. In 2006, the Aboitiz Group was looking to expand its power business. The privatization of the state's power assets was also underway. Then came a phone call from the Norwegian shipping partner of the Aboitiz Group. It conveyed that a Norwegian hydro company was interested to meet with the Aboitizes. And so began the partnership that significantly expanded the Aboitiz Group's hydropower portfolio and Norway's investment in the Philippines. SN Aboitiz Power is a Norwegian and Filipino joint venture between SN Power and Aboitiz Power. Aboitiz Power is the holding company of Aboitiz Group's investments in power generation, distribution, and retail electricity services. SN Power of Norway is a hydropower developer and independent power producer. In 2020, it was bought out by Scatec ASA, a Norwegian developer and provider of solar, wind, and hydropower as well as storage solutions. SNAP had acquired the Magat and the Ambuklao being a hydroelectric power plants in 2006 and 2007 respectively through public bidding. Only the power components of the facilities were privatized. The non-power components such as dams and spillways remain government-owned and mostly government-operated. Magat Dam is a multi-purpose dam used primarily for irrigation. Power generation for Magat hydropower depends on irrigation diversion requirement. For the Ambuklao and being a hydros located in Benguet, SNAP operates the spillway gates under normal conditions based on an operation and maintenance agreement. Ambuklao was under preservation and not operating at the time of privatization. Both Ambuklao and Binga underwent rehabilitation and uprating. Binga is being operated remotely from Ambuklao. Straddling the province of Ifugao and Isabela is SNAP's biggest plant, Magat Hydro. Magat undertook a half-life refurbishment to ensure that it remains available throughout its lifespan. As impounding hydros, these three plants are designed to capture and store water inflow and use it to generate electricity when it is most needed. With the restructured power industry, SNAP built its business along ancillary services, spot trading, and contracting. SNAP had changed Magat's operations from a base load plant to a peaking plant. This led to greater flexibility in water use, minimal losses of spillage, and increased profitability. Magat was also the first power plant to offer and secure an ancillary services contract, a business offering that continues to this day. It also has contracts with customers. Ambuklao and Binga are also capable of and are providing AS. It also sells to the spot market and is partially contracted. For the past year, SNAP's power business centered on hydropower, but we have been taking opportunities to expand our RE portfolio. The first plant SNAP built is Maris Hydro, completed in 2017. Maris is a runoff river hydropower plant operated remotely from Magat. We piloted our first non-hydro project, the Magat Floating Solar, over the Magat Reservoir in 2019. We also started work on a battery energy storage system in Magat to boost our ancillary service offerings. SNAP has improved the operations of the plants, optimized water values, modernized the facilities, improved reliability and dependability, introduced quality systems, processes, and technologies, developed company culture, competencies, and strategic relationships towards profitability and sustainability. This may be our past, but the story continues. And though our history has many great highlights, many more are yet to come. So, as this story begins with a call, we end it for now with another. Come and be part of the Snap story.
All right, good afternoon to all of you watching us from the YouTube live screen and to all of you here in the Zoom call. SN Aboitiz Power, or SNAP, is the leading renewable energy producer in the country, providing responsible energy that fosters growth, progress, and success of businesses and communities. And as part of its continuing commitment to energizing a sustainable future, Snap Group welcomes you to another episode of Snap Conversations on Smarter Sustainable Operations. I am Jane Constelacion from the Corporate Communications and Branding team, and I will be your host for this afternoon session. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to this episode of Snap Conversations. And before we start, we just have a couple of reminders. We encourage everyone to close other applications that are not in use that might be using your bandwidth. Stay engaged throughout the webinar. Be open to share ideas and ask questions through the Slido link, which you should now be seeing on your screens and in the description and chat box. And as always, participate, learn, and enjoy. Today's Snap Conversations holds great significance. We have attendees from various business and industry sectors, government, academe, and of course from Snap. We are fortunate to be joined by esteemed leaders from key public agencies at the forefront of advancing technology use in business sectors. We have the Department of Science and Technology, and we also have today the Department of Economy, Planning, and Development. So I hope you guys are excited. Sustainability and technology continue to become more integrated into our daily lives, influencing the way we work, do business, and care for our communities. This makes it even more crucial to see how they can drive positive change, support impactful initiatives, and contribute to the nation's progress. This is why today's Snap Conversations is relevant, and we will be sure to provide useful insights for all of our attendees. So let us not wait any further to officially welcome all of you. Here is Snap's Chief Strategy Officer, Mr. Harold Fontillas.
Good afternoon to all our participants, customers, esteemed guests, and sustainability partners. Welcome and thank you for joining us at Snap Conversations 2025. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to warmly welcome each of you, share a few thoughts on why we're here today, and introduce the distinguished speakers who will be leading our discussion. Our theme this year, Smarter Sustainable Operations, puts the spotlight on the powerful role of technology in advancing sustainability. Artificial intelligence, data science, and analytics are no longer just tools of the future. They are shaping how businesses grow responsibly today. These technologies are helping industries operate more efficiently, reduce their environmental impact, and make smarter, more informed decisions. We're honored this afternoon to be joined by two respected leaders from key public agencies that are helping drive the responsible use of technology in the industry. Dr. Enrico C. Paringit, the Executive Director of the Department of Science and Technology, Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development, will share insights into national initiatives supporting AI-driven sustainability and its application across various sectors. Director Rory J. Dacumos, the officer in charge of the Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Environment staff at the Department of Economy, Planning and Development, will discuss how we can align industry strategies with national priorities for a low-carbon economy, highlighting the critical role of technology in achieving long-term sustainability goals. At the heart of today's conversation is a simple yet powerful idea. Sustainability and technology are no longer separate pursuits. They are deeply connected, reshaping how we live, work, and care for our communities. Together, they create new opportunities for innovation and progress. I hope the conversations ahead inspire new thinking, spark collaboration, and move us all a step closer toward a smarter, more sustainable, and future-ready economy. Once again, welcome to Snap Conversations 2025, Smarter, Sustainable Operations.
Thank you so much, Sir Harold. Indeed, like he said, data science and artificial intelligence are now significant tools in helping key people in national sustainability and development make smarter and more informed decisions in both the private and public sectors. And we are so excited to hear more about this from our speakers for today. And we shall be diving into our first speaker soon. But before that, we would like to remind everyone that you are encouraged to ask questions and give comments and suggestions through our Slido link. We shall have a proper question and answer portion at the end of the episode after all the speakers have finished their presentations. All right, so let me introduce to you our first speaker this afternoon, who will share his insights on national initiatives, AI, data science, and analytics for sustainable growth across local industries. Allow me to read his very meaty profile. All right. Our first speaker is currently Executive Director of the Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development of the Department of Science and Technology, a position he has held since December 2018. Dr. Paringit holds a Bachelor of Science in Geodetic Engineering, Master's in Remote Sensing, both from the University of the Philippines, and he obtained his Doctorate of Engineering from the Tokyo Institute of Technology. He is seconded to DOST by UP Diliman, where he has also been Professor of Geodetic Engineering since 2014. He has served as chair and director of the Department of Geodetic Engineering and director of the Training Center for Applied Geodesy and Photogrammetry. His specialization is in the field of remote sensing and modeling of hydrological and coastal environments for applications in disaster risk reduction and in energy resource assessment. Dr. Eric, as he is fondly called, has conducted and led numerous research, including the Disaster Risk Exposure and Assessment for Mitigation, or the DREAM program, and also the Phil LIDAR 1 programs from 2011 to 2018, which used laser mapping technology to identify flood-prone areas throughout the Philippines. At PCI EERD, he pursued innovations in the R&D grants program management, capacity building, and he strengthened partnerships to accelerate the pace of technology development and innovation in the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to welcome Dr. Enrico C. Paringit of the Department of Science and Technology.
Thank you. Thank you, Jane. Good afternoon to everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Also, of course, I'd like to acknowledge, of course, everyone's presence and thank SNAP, SN Aboitiz, for this a wonderful opportunity to share what the Department of Science and Technology is doing in this topic that was, requested to me on our national initiatives on AI, on data science, on analytics for sustainable growth across industries. Is my presentation showing? Yeah, thank you. All right, so maybe we can move to the next slide. For those that are uninitiated to PSHERD, let me briefly introduce what it is. No, it's one of the sectoral planning councils of the Department of Science and Technology, in charge of the formulation of policies, plans, and programs, as well as in the implementation of strategies in the industry, energy, and emerging technology sectors through several S&T interventions. Our mandate is basically to provide support for research and development, human resources, and institution development in the sectors that we cater to. You see there on the right side the priority areas that we have under my sector. And interestingly, of course, maybe you already see that energy is actually one of them, and energy is linked to transport as well as other industrial processes and sectors that we aim to provide. Next slide, please. Maybe a good way to also understand what we're doing is in terms of how we nurture different core technologies as they mature towards application to our communities and into, of course, our industries. For communities, we are always, of course, on the lookout for making sure that our communities are resilient, sustainable, and inclusive, no? And then also, in the case of the industry, of course, we provide solutions through S&T interventions that will make our industry productive, competitive, and of course also efficient. And we do this through various capability building measures. You know, you're not born to be a researcher. You're usually trained to be one, and you should have the capacity or the capability to do it, including the institutions that, of course, host you when you do your research activities. We also try to fuse technology and business. This is through our technology business incubation programs under the Republic Act 11337 of the Innovative Startup Act. We provide support through our Startup Grant Fund. And then we also provide, of course, support for our technology transfer programs. And then, of course, we're part of government. So we provide policy recommendations to government in the which are, of course, supported by the very outputs of our research and development activities. No? So it's purely grounded on the findings, conclusions, and recommendations made by our researchers. Now, let me give you a brief of an insight. I don't know if you've seen this, but the Philippines actually is, moderately or lowly ranked in terms of global AI index. This is just one of them. There are actually plenty that's out there, but this one could probably maybe illustrate what needs to be done in terms of implementation, innovation, and in investment. No? And then we're not solely lagging behind, say, for example, operating environment. In fact, this is primarily due to the very liberal policies that we employ when we need to have access to these technologies. But in terms of development, in terms of creating knowledge and deploying them, this might be something that we need to work out, no? And then, of course, we also need some kind of investment, both from government as well as from our commercial or industrial or business partners in order to move things about. AI and data analytics is not actually new in the plate of PSHERD, no? In fact, from several years ago, we started to nurture this set of AI scientists or AI researchers so that we could at least jumpstart the interest in doing or building our capabilities through some kind of R&D. And then, as you see on the timeline shown on screen, we had developed the R&D roadmap, and then this actually was evolved into some kind of an AI roadmap, also in partnership with our colleagues from government, particularly in the DTI. We also launched our AI banner program until we had this national AI R&D conference. And then we were also now hearing, of course, the established centers for AI R&D, as well as launching of our very own programs. So you might already have heard of this national AI strategy, and we call this actually by its moniker the NAIS PH. No, so NAIS, of course, is an aspiration. Clearly, our strategy here is to build on the milestones and momentum that we already have with a whole of government approach. And we need to make this inclusive, future ready. And to do that, we have proposed this AI program framework. So the framework outlines a path to harness AI for national growth. So currently, the Philippines uses AI to boost economic growth, enhancing public service, fostering creativity, but our efforts are focused on, of course, the basic computing and data infrastructure, the skills, the technology, and the policies. What we need or what we aspire for, however, is to make us AI, is to have an AI inclusive innovation. That means everybody's in it, no? Everybody has a stake and everybody has a decent level of access to and knowledge of AI and what it can do for their lives. Whether you're a student, you're in business, you're in work, or you're in government, there must be something there that AI will be able to tell you, or AI will be able to help you with, perform your work, go about with your business, all for, of course, a common goal of national development. And we have identified here the AI solutions and technologies that we need to do, as well as the key drivers. So this next slide here shows us the, a kind of strategy that we need to employ, no? And what we're saying here, if you see here, the middle circle shows this AI factory. What is it? No, why did we call it a factory? Because actually, when you get to the factory, it all create. You need to have the AI infrastructure to, it's akin to your typical factory, but you need an AI workflow by which you can process, and then you will be able to come up also with key products that you will deploy to the public or through the private sector, so through some kind of collaboration, and of course empowered by key policies. But in order to do that, we need to have some kind of inputs to that. So that's why you have the AI refinery, which is actually the space for us to do some kind of research and development and some innovations that could be introduced. And this will be possible through our interface with the public, which are our AI hubs. Of course, you have research institutions. This could be universities. This could be our academic institutions, and this could be the very the research and development institutions in the UST itself. And then, of course, there should be a strong participation from the private sector, not only as co-developers of the technology, but also as co-creators of the solutions, as well as the opportunities that could be achieved, no, using AI. Next, we recognize how, different agencies of government could actually contribute to the development of AI. It's not really, a pursuit that is of the science sectors alone. So we could be involved actually in R&D, in training, in commercialization, but we recognize also that other agencies have a critical role to play. For example, on infrastructure and policy, on education, on skills training, also the enabling environment at which AI companies and enterprises could actually move about their businesses. And then, of course, we need that innovation and partnership coming from the private sector. So as part of the national AI strategy, this had been the proposed roles of each department. No? Next, zooming in on the AI workforce development, we also need to, of course, enable our workforce so that we are all AI capable. No? So we divided this, or we differentiated the different efforts for different segments of our workforce. For example, we will have, we were quite ambitious, no, in getting this through, because that's really what we need to do at this point. No? That is, for example, make the general public more AI literate. So this will be like a massive AI literacy program. It's not, until you actually graduate into different levels of what you call an AI developer, an AI engineer, up to the level of the experts, no, where you become actually an AI expert. No? So the key differentiation is, of course, the degree of knowledge and skills and the engagement that you will have with the community. For example, if you're a worker in a government agency, you should have been able to use your own AI platform within the office to actually perform your task. For example, if you just want to query the specific guidelines or manuals so that you can perform your task according to the expected outcomes or outputs, then you can access your own AI platform to do so. No? If you're an AI expert at the level of a university researcher, you should be able to come up with foundational models that are more bespoke with the requirements of for research, as well as to push the boundaries of technologies altogether. Next slide. Of course, so that this means we really have to have a graduated approach towards developing the skills in the formal education system, while at the same time, we need to also deploy upskilling and reskilling program for those that are already in the post formal education system. No? In other words, we need to re-equip ourselves with certain tools that have AI core technologies and tools in place so that we will be able to perform our work better. So for AI technology development, we are of course focusing on impact-oriented solutions. This include generative AI for STEM, e-learning, healthcare, and medicine, as well as real-time language translation. We likewise are going for technologies that are aiming at having a geospatial component in it. So we call this the AI, spatial AI for resource planning and urban development. For example, examples of this are precision agriculture, disaster risk planning, prediction and response, for cybersecurity, and others. We also need to, one realization also is that we need to build the key infrastructure. In fact, the ambition here is that by next year, we will be able to implement two major infrastructure upgrades to boost national AI computing. And looking ahead, we're actually now aiming at a 100 gigabyte connectivity expansion to the US and Europe, so to further solidify our position in the international research AI landscape. In terms of policy partnerships and industry collaboration, we need to think about making sure that our AI efforts are not only somewhat parochial, we need to also look out for opportunities to partner within the region and even beyond the country. Because we always thought that by enriching our AI platforms with data, with experiences, and with cooperation, we will be able to deliver much more effective and custom fit development or solutions for key segments or sectors of our country. So the key there also is to lay down the foundations for a national high performance computing platform. If you will notice, actually, if you go to the regions, you will notice a slowdown in our connectivity as well as in the, of course, level of service of our ICT products, including, of course, AI. So by deploying these HPC platforms, we will be able to fill that gap by enabling what we call a federated AI system. In terms of policy and governance, of course, we're quite aware that there are policy initiatives that are moving all about in government, but we need to make sure also that they are observing, of course, the key tenets of being trustworthy and responsible and employing ethical practices, particularly in the use of data that is used in AI, sharing the data, and making sure that it includes everyone, particularly those that are digitally poor, if I may use that term. That means those sectors or groups that are not data generating or are not as willing to extend or share the data that they generate out of their own processes or systems. The projected impacts of NISPH are quite ambitious. No, first is that there will be widespread AI literacy and a strong talent pipeline. Second is that we will have a future-ready workforce for technology-driven economy. The next one is that we will have advanced AI applications across sectors, not just your ordinary GPTs, no, but rather these are custom built or custom fit for any kind of work, not only in the public sector but in the private institutions or in private businesses as well. And then, of course, as government, we're always striving to provide the best kind of service that is, and this can only be made possible if we have the data and data crunched through the use of AI for better public service delivery. So that's the second part of my talk is actually about what we're doing in DOST. No? So if you can slide to next slide, please. So if you will see the pattern here, since 2017, we have actually ramped up our investments in AI R&D initiatives. This is the whole budget, and if you will count it, it amounts to about 2.3 billion in 113 projects. No less than, of course, our Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology had envisioned a future where AI will power inclusive innovation, strengthen governance, and uplift communities. One that will drive globally competitive industries. No? So we're really on the lookout for making sure that AI goes really out of the lab, really goes out of the academic realm, but becomes more practical, becomes more real for Filipinos. No? And the way we're now employing it is that we're employing this AI R&D framework. That you have the elements of infrastructure, talent skills development, research and data, and then the policies that are come about. So actually, this came first before the NISPH. So you actually have key elements of this embedded in the national AI strategy. Next slide, please. Some are actually asking the question about how do we get involved, in the entire process of developing tools, solutions, systems. So we have the Science for Change program. So this allows for participation of the private sector. For example, we have the Cradle program, the collaborative research and development to leverage the Philippine economy. The system is that we share in the costs of coming up with the solutions or the systems or the R&D outputs to be used by specific firm or enterprise, so that they can actually provide it as a solution or as a service or as a product to their clients. On the other hand, we also have this BEAST or the Business Innovation through SNT for SNT leadership. This is just a report. We have, of course, conducted a lot of this workforce development. As I've said, we started this in 2017 for AI, for the first set of AI competent personnel, if you will, coming in from the different institutions. And about a few years ago, we have the SPARTA program, which is the Smarter Philippines through Data Analytics, R&D, Training, and Adoption. Because we'd like to believe that you start off with the data first, being literate with the data, then you could be literate also. The next step will be for us to be literate with the tools, such as artificial intelligence. So this was our artificial intelligence R&D roadmap, which is updated until last year, and you see here there's quite a progress already of the targeted milestones and solutions that we were aiming for in the last few years. And this is quite a encouraging, because we wanted to make sure that up until 2028 we will be able to also meet all the remaining targeted outputs that we need to in order to achieve the outcomes that we have. These are just some of the examples. Let me just tell you about a few of the things that was done. So we have this high impact systems and solutions for cross-cutting applications. For example, Alam LSI. This is actually an automatic labeling system. In a satellite imagery, for example, like you would be able to identify the building type or if it's a tree or a road, using an automated system, and this is made possible through an AI engine that was developed by the researchers. You also have this case of where AI system is used for developing, forecasting, and advising agricultural systems in the country. This is called the Project Saray. This is in cooperation, of course, with the University of the Philippines. But I think a key development in this phase of development is that our regional offices are involved. So this becomes a little bit more regionalized. So this means farmers and those that are involved in the agricultural sector will be able to get support, using AI platforms. Then we have this health and education applications. For example, we have this multilingual chatbot for health monitoring and a conversational agent. Because I think this is really one of the sorely lacking features in our current global AI landscape. There's nothing really personal. There's nothing really a little bit more closer to home, because the very data which we feed in order for our AI systems to be a lot more locally contextualized is not there. And this is the system that we'd like to introduce. And then we have the Asimov. The Asimov is actually a project that tries to integrate, say, for example, technologies with agricultural area management. This was done for a plantation. Imagine if your plantation was infested with some kind of pest, and you will want to have a very almost real-time assessment of it, not only through data capture, but also through analytics and AI, and you use the very same results of the analytics in order to drive certain measures or interventions, such as spraying fertilizer or insecticides, or putting more water in certain parts where it is deficient. Another application that we supported is this set of projects on traffic control. For example, you want to make your traffic lights a little bit smarter. If there were no queued up vehicles on one lane, you could flag a red light so for the other lane to be accommodated, and vice versa. So these are all, some of them have been completed, some of them are actually near completion. So you have this lightweight edge computer vision solution, again, this smart traffic, and then you have this Pasada, which is actually a driving behavior for truck operators, no? So this is a good application for those that are managing trucking or logistics fleet. We also have, did you know now that we are employing AI in doing weather forecasting? So this is made possible through the AI for RP project being implemented by the DOST Pag-asa. And then also there's a project on the use of AI for improving our hazard mapping. One case of this is liquefaction, and the other case is for active fault mapping, no? So essentially, you use the data of existing prior faults, movements, observations, as well as the existing maps that are already there to actually generate one, but this time using artificial intelligence. So another project is on AI supported land use planning, no? So this is a very good tool for local government units when they want to integrate, say, for example, hazard information into identifying development areas, no? As well as growth, opportunity areas with opportunities for growth because they are, endowed or with natural resources, which they can use, and at the same time, away from possible risks of hazards, no? Both natural and maybe other types of calamity. Then you have this set of smart city projects that we supported. The three of them implemented by different agencies have some elements of artificial intelligence in them, in that they use actually data that was captured on site on these cities to develop different indices or indices that is actually being monitored to reach their desirable goals. For example, if you want to improve air quality, traffic conditions, you actually have to have the data that is captured, say, for example, from CCTV, and you use artificial intelligence to do counting, which you can actually use now to balance, for example, distribution of vehicles, and implemented eventually by city officials to reroute, say, for example, traffic to accommodate to loosen up some kinks or some traffic congestions in one particular area. So we also have this program on good governance through data science and decision support. So you could imagine this to be some kind of a digital city hall. That means you don't need to go to the city hall to get the service that you want or to pay for taxes. All you need to do is open the application that's pertaining to it. And at the same time, the very same data that is being generated through transactions, through how do you call this? observations. I don't want to call it surveillance, no, but it sometimes it is like CCTV being mandated by our city officials, di ba? In some jurisdictions, I think this is passed as an ordinance. And then of course you also have I think very important customer or citizen reporting. No, it's now becoming more important. You use those data sets essentially to get insights into how the city is working or feeling or experiencing, no, what pain points are there, and then this can be used by our decision makers, this can be used by our planners, this can be used by our policymakers then to make decisions, to make plans, and to make policies as a basis, no, for more citizen connected or citizen centric interventions, as well as taking into account also the trends and patterns that are found within and across the jurisdictions of cities. So let me now take this opportunity to invite, of course, our colleagues from SNAP, as well as those that are participating in this forum, to be part of this movement to enrich our experiences and our capabilities in artificial intelligence. We have the different sets of programs I already outlined earlier, the entry points that you can take in order to partake of the different R&D activities, either as a partner of the researchers or become the researchers yourselves through our BEAST, through our Cradle and BEAST programs, respectively. If you're a startup, you can avail of our Startup Grant Fund. And if you're part of a university, you can avail of this through our fast track programs. And then, if you are not as capable, you think there's an opportunity for you to be enabled, you can always ask for support to our human resource and institution development program. I'm happy to note that a lot of the startups that we are now seeing providing services or solutions to the community or to the public as a whole have some elements of AI in them, no? Maybe I'll not go through them one by one, but for example, Aim High is actually a startup that tries to provide estimates for construction, and they use artificial intelligence actually to infer the costs associated with a construction project. And we're happy to note that I think they're doing quite good business, no, in this area. You have Fish Eye, which has an environmental application. You can automatically count fish, know their sizes, and even know their species using artificial intelligence. I think one of the very first use cases for marine environmental applications. So I think this is a good way to end my presentation. I invite everyone to please partake or participate in all of these wonderful developments taking place. It's not just for us in DUST doing this alone. You're part of it through Goddess, through Beast, through Cradle, and all sorts of other initiatives. You can forget about the names of these fancy projects that we have or programs that we have to support you. All you have to do is tell us what you intend to do, and then maybe we'll run through an artificial intelligence application to give you advice on which program will best fit your requirement or expectation or need as a whole. So with that, I think I can end my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Paringit. Lots of insights now on how the government is currently employing all these AI and data analytics driven programs and strategies to make, like you said, communities resilient and sustainable, and to help industries be more productive and efficient. And this is seen in all levels. Now we saw the aspiration for a holistically innovative and technology empowered ecosystem, inclusive of all sectors, inclusive even of our audience and students even. So, and I hope our audience caught all the available touch points to get involved in these programs and strategies. Dr. Paringit highlighted various trainings and programs, call for proposals, and even scholarships. I think I saw scholarships. So lots of ways to get involved. Again, thank you, sir. And congratulations as well on the many amazing milestones that you mentioned in your presentation. To our audience, for your questions and comments, you may send them through our Slido link. And we shall also have a Q&A portion at the end of the session before the program ends and after all the presentations are finished. Dr. Parigit, please stay put as we virtually hand over a certificate of appreciation. Let me just read this. SN Aboitiz Power Group awards this certificate of appreciation to Dr. Enrico C. Paringit for sharing his valuable expertise and knowledge during the SNAP Conversations 2025 Smarter Sustainable Operations, given this 9th of September 2025, signed by SNAP's Vice President, Mr. Senen Fenomeno, and SNAP's President and CEO, Mr. Joseph S. Yu. Again, thank you so much, sir. All right, I hope you guys are all still with us because I'm about to introduce our second speaker for this afternoon, who will be discussing key insights on aligning industry strategies with national priorities toward a low carbon economy. Also quite a meaty profile, so let me just read this. Our next speaker is the Officer in Charge Director of the Agriculture, Natural Resources and Environment staff at the Department of Economy, Planning and Development. He has over 15 years of experience in economic development policy and management with a focus on rural and regional development. He holds a Master of Arts in International Development from Nagoya University in Japan, where he majored in rural and regional development and minored in economic development policy and management. He also has a Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Engineering from the University of the Philippines, Las Bañas, where he majored in agricultural and bioprocessing and minored in land and water resources. He is also a licensed professional agricultural engineer. Throughout his career, he has held various positions at the National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, rising from the ranks of Economic Development Specialist 1 all the way to Chief Economic Development Specialist in 2019. He started his career in 2005 as a statistician at the Bureau of Agricultural Statistics of the Department of Agriculture. As you can see, he has extensive experience in economic development planning and policy review, project appraisal and evaluation, and public investment programming. His work has been instrumental in providing inputs to the Philippine Development Plan and Public Investment Program, as well as in various policy recommendations on agriculture, fishery, agrarian reform, climate change, and environment and natural resources. He has also facilitated the approval of ODA-assisted projects, that Office of the Development Assistance, on agriculture, agrarian reform, environment, and natural resources, making significant contributions to the development and implementation of key policies and programs in all of these sectors. He has also authored several policy research papers himself on rural development. Guests and colleagues, it's my honor to welcome on the floor Director Rory J. Dakumos of the Department of Economy, Planning, and Development.
Thank you, Jane. So, good afternoon to everyone, all the participants to this event. So, in behalf of the Department of Economy, Planning, and Development, or DepDev, so we are a newly named agency, actually. Previously, we were called NEDA, but right now we are a full-fledged line department. So, Department of Economy, Planning, and Development. So, DepDev for short. So, on behalf of DepDev, I would like to express our utmost gratitude to the SNAP for inviting us to this event and for giving us this opportunity to share the country's climate change priority strategies, as well as our innovation and technology pathways, particularly the role of AI, artificial intelligence, and digital solutions in advancing a low-carbon, climate-resilient economy. Next slide. So, but before that, let me set the context for my presentation, by first touching on the climate change landscape in the Philippines. So, our country is widely recognized as one of the most vulnerable countries to the impacts of climate change, despite contributing only 0.49% to global greenhouse gas emissions. So very low, well below the global average. And this vulnerability is reflected by the Philippines' consistent first place ranking among the countries as the most at risk nations in the World Risk Reports from 2021 to 2024. This ranking highlights not only the country's high exposure to natural hazards, but also its limited capacity to adapt to increasingly severe climate-related threats. Next slide. So for the period 2003 to 2022, losses and damage incurred from disasters amounted to 703 billion pesos. About 96% of which, amounting to 673 billion, are caused by climate-related hazards such as climatological, hydrological, and meteorological hazards. So mostly typhoons, tropical cyclones. According to the Philippines Country Climate and Development Report by the World Bank, damages and losses from climate change related impacts are projected to increase further under a business as usual scenario, reaching up to 7.6% of the country's GDP, gross domestic product, by 2030, 13% by 2040, and ultimately between 18 to 25% of GDP by the year 2050. So for this reason, the government has identified adaptation as its anchor strategy for climate action. Mitigation is pursued as a function of adaptation to support a low carbon economy. So we are clear on that, no? The delineation between adaptation and mitigation. So mitigation is reducing the greenhouse gas. Adaptation is for the adjusting our systems, behaviors, physical environment to cope with the impacts of the climate change. No? So our country's anchor strategy is adaptation, but we also do mitigation, and we do mitigation because we are also after the adaptation co-benefit of that. So that's the delineation of our core main strategy as a matter of the country's priority for climate action. So next slide. So to address these challenges, the government has established a robust policy frameworks for supporting climate action. So this includes, we have a law, Republic Act 9729, or the Climate Change Act of 2009. It's a landmark legislation that established the Philippines framework for addressing climate change. It created the CCC, the Climate Change Commission, as the lead policy-making body to coordinate, monitor, and evaluate climate change programs and ensure mainstreaming into national and local development plans. As part of that law, we also have the Climate Change Act established the National Framework Strategy on Climate Change, or the NFSCC. So it covered the period 2010 to 2022, but it will soon be updated. It is a policy framework that says our country's agenda for climate change adaptation as an anchor strategy, which I already mentioned, while capitalizing on mitigation opportunities. It identified the key result areas to be pursued in key climate sensitive sectors to address the adverse effects of climate change through both adaptation and mitigation. And related to that, we also have the NCCAP, the National Climate Change Action Plan. Again, covering until 2028, but it will after that it will be again updated. It was formulated to serve as the operational plan of the NFSCC. It outlines the country's long-term agenda for adaptation and mitigation for 2011 to 2028. It outlines key strategies to enhance the adaptive capacity and resilience of vulnerable communities and ecosystems to climate change. Next slide. So the government has also developed multi-sectoral plans to further guide the effective operationalization of the PDP's climate action strategy. Before I proceed, you will notice I am talking about many programs, plans, strategies now, but all of these are actually interrelated. They are linked to one another. So the PDP is the overall plan, and we have this two right now, the National Adaptation Plan and the NDC Implementation Plan as the subsector implementation action plan of those overall climate strategy articulated in the PDP, Philippine Development Plan. So this National Adaptation Plan 2023 to 2050 provides a strategic framework for enhancing the country's resilience to climate change impacts. It identifies priority adaptation actions, strengthening institutional capacities, and integrating climate risk consideration into development planning. Now, on the other side, talking about mitigation, we have the NDC implementation plan. NDC stands for Nationally Determined Contribution. So in the overall climate change agenda of of the the world, so the Philippines being a developing country, we submit the NDC, Nationally Determined Contribution, because our main argument, negotiating point in international climate change negotiations is that Philippines, as I've presented in my second slide now, our historical contribution to greenhouse gas emissions is only 0.49%. So why are we being compelled as a country, as a state actor, why are we being compelled or forced to do mitigation, reduce the greenhouse gas emissions? Our contribution is only 0.49. So as part of that commitment, we are required to submit our ambag, our contribution, and that is called the NDC. The NDC. So in order to implement that, we have the NDC implementation plan. It outlines the priority low carbon measures across the agriculture, energy, industrial processes and product use, transport, and waste sectors. So this NDC implementation plan entails an investment requirement of 72 billion US dollars or 4.1 trillion pesos. So more than half of our Philippine national budget to achieve a projected 75% reduction and avoidance of greenhouse gas emissions, of which 2.71% is unconditional and 72.29% is conditional on support. So I mentioned here one of the target sectors ng NDC is and also the National Adaptation Plan is on the energy sector, which as we know, the SNAP is part of the energy sector of this country. And the adoption of renewable energy, the reduction of greenhouse gas emission from the traditional coal-fired power generation, that contributes to our nationally determined contribution. Now, next slide. So going back to the Philippine Development Plan, or the PDP 2023 to 2028, it was crafted as a blueprint for economic and social transformation. Noting that we came from the pandemic, so we only opened up around end of 2022 and That's why the period of coverage of this development medium-term development plan is 2023 to 2028. And we aim to boost job creation and accelerate poverty reduction through inclusive growth. And as part of the one of the strategies to achieve this is to recognize that climate resilience and low carbon development are critical to achieve these goals. So the PDP integrated various climate change related strategies across various sectors. So for the second half of the midterm, so yung 2026, 27 to 28, so the DepDev released the midterm update of the Philippine Development Plan. So I posted here the link for the midterm update of PDP. I encourage everyone to visit the link, and if you can download, you can read, you can learn more about the possible entry points to which your company's sustainability initiatives and efforts will be linked to. So it's there in the midterm update of the PDP. So the updated PDP builds on the country's hard-earned gains in the past implementation period, while also enhancing the economy's ability to navigate shifting trends and respond to emerging domestic and global challenges, including, as Secretary Balisacan calls it, the one of the mega trends. Ito yung including climate change. So in the next slide, in the PDP, we crafted the strategic the framework for all the strategies to achieve, in particular, in our case, a low carbon economy. So while climate change strategies are spread across the different chapters of the PDP, majority is embedded and detailed under Chapter 15. So it's entitled Accelerating Climate Action and Strengthening Disaster Resilience. So climate change adaptation and mitigation strategies are under in this chapter. It has three main sub-outcomes, and I will briefly discuss each one of them. But my focus is on the third one, the one with the red box, low carbon economy transition enabled. So this outcome three enables the transition to a low carbon economy by implementing the country's nationally determined contribution, prioritizing private sector investments in green development. So I understand many of our participants here are private sector actors who are active in the energy sector, but also in other green technologies. Maybe some of you are involved in critical minerals industry, mining, also processing of semiconductors, batteries, something like that. And outcome three has also included the safeguards in place for the stakeholders affected by the transition. So this is what we call the just transition framework, and expanding markets for low carbon technologies and products. And apart from that main outcome, there are also cross-cutting strategies that cuts across several initiatives, no? And this is on the improving governance and intersectionality of climate change and natural hazard resilience through improved data and information interoperability for planning and policy making, increase access to sustainable finance across private and public sources, and facilitate the institutionalization of natural capital accounting and strengthening engagement for effective loss and damage response. So that is the part of the low carbon side, no, the climate change mitigation, low carbon economy side. And another chapter in next slide in the PDP is on the chapter 8. So from the previous chapter, no, the climate action strategies, it is clear that our transition to a low carbon economy requires not only financing and policy reform, but also the active engagement of the private sector and robust technological innovations. So these two private sector engagement and technological innovation. It's embedded here in Chapter 8. So the PDP midterm update, Chapter 8, Advancing Research and Development, Technology and Innovation, emphasizes research, technology, and innovation as central drivers of economic transformation with artificial intelligence, AI, at the forefront. So AI is recognized as a powerful enabler of productivity, industrial competitiveness, and sustainability. So we can see now na in two chapters in the PDP, there's a linkage between our climate action and also the use of AI. And to complement with this chapter 8 on innovation chapter of the PDP, we also have this National Innovation Agenda and Strategy document, NIASD 2023 to 2032. It is the country's 10-year vision, long-term goals, and strategies to improve innovation on the priority areas identified by the National Innovation Council. And one of the priority sectors under this NIASD is the energy sector, including agriculture, manufacturing, finance, alongside the ethical use of AI governance and workforce upscaling. Together, these strategies highlight how AI and digital technologies are no longer optional, but essential to our climate and development agenda. So next slide. So having said that, no. So in what ways businesses can harness AI-driven solutions to align with the national priorities and accelerate the transition to a low carbon economy? So this is where the private sector plays a decisive role. Businesses, regardless of size, can harness AI and digital tools to support the country's climate and innovation priorities. So in the next slides, I will show some examples covering how the private sector can harness AI to improve energy efficiency, the key challenges in its adoption, practical pathways for MSMEs to get started, successful examples of AI in renewable energy integration, and opportunities for collaboration moving forward. So for businesses seeking to leverage AI for enhanced energy performance, the initial step is to institutionalize foundational energy management practices. So government programs have long encouraged this, such as the Department of Energy's Government Energy Management Program, or GEMP, and the Don Emilio Abello Energy Efficiency Awards, so which recognize companies for achieving significant energy savings. So because of energy savings, we are contributing to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. No? So that's mitigation, and that is also part of our climate action priority. So by institutionalizing energy management practices, businesses can create the foundation to fully harness AI's potential across these three critical dimensions of sustainable operations. Next slide, please. So one is on the optimizing energy efficiency. So to optimize energy efficiency in daily operations, businesses can adopt the following applications of AI. At the operational level, the use of AI-driven energy management systems can make a substantial contribution to energy efficiency. For businesses deploying AI in EMS for real-time monitoring and demand forecasting is highly beneficial for optimizing energy consumption. AI-driven automation in lighting, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, as well as equipment scheduling, it minimizes unnecessary energy usage or consumption and reduces the need for manual switching. So AI in demand size energy management also improves efficiency and generates energy cost savings. So another significant application of AI in operational sustainability is on predictive maintenance. AI-driven predictive maintenance improves energy efficiency by keeping machines in optimal condition. By forecasting failures and scheduling timely servicing, AI minimizes downtime, reduces energy wastage from malfunctioning equipment, and extends machinery lifespan while lowering cost. For example, yung Meralco, it utilizes AI to predict overloaded distribution transformers, resulting in 55% fewer outages and protecting over 500,000 customers. Additionally, through process optimization, AI can also analyze complex production processes to identify opportunities for energy saving. So Aboitiz Power is doing this through its project Arcangel initiative. Is transforming its conventional coal-fired power plants into smart power plants by using AI, data analytics, and digital twin technology. This has led to improved fuel efficiency and enhanced reliability by predicting potential failures. So in other sectors such as in manufacturing and utilities, AI enhances energy efficiency further. Smart grids, for example, powered by AI, optimize electricity distribution and consumption. While in manufacturing, AI systems adjust machine operations based on energy consumption patterns to minimize waste without compromising output. And another application of AI is it can also directly support emissions reduction in multiple ways. So one is in energy intensive industries such as steel, cement, petrochemicals. Machine learning algorithms are applied to optimize combustion processes and reduce excess heat loss, cutting emissions significantly without requiring new hardware. And supply chain management is another frontier. AI-enabled platforms combined with blockchain technologies provide traceability of carbon emissions across logistics networks. For businesses, this means identifying suppliers with disproportionately high footprints and making data-driven decisions to decarbonize their value chains. Furthermore, AI can support more accurate carbon accounting and supplement existing GHG reporting initiatives within businesses. If any, companies with accurate GHG inventories provide reliable data that can enhance the accuracy of the national GHG inventory. So next slide, one of AI's most important contribution is addressing the variability of renewable energy. So next slide, please. So we know that solar and wind power energy sources, while clean, they are intermittent sources. No, so AI can be used to enhance forecasting accuracy of renewable energy generation by analyzing vast data sets such as historical weather data, satellite data, and real-time grid conditions. Improved forecasting reduces reliance on fossil fuel backup systems. So AI also plays a critical role in energy storage optimization by using predictive algorithms to determine when to charge or discharge batteries, and therefore balancing supply and demand efficiently. So these are some of the uses of AI, But in the next slide, there are also challenges. So leveraging AI for enhanced energy performance comes with challenges. These challenges. So one is the primary barrier faced by stakeholders in adopting AI, and digital technologies include high cost of deployment, such as infrastructure and training, and these are particularly burdensome for many MSMEs with limited resources. So the lack of standardization across AI technologies makes seamless integration difficult. So while ethical concerns on data security and privacy further complicate adoption of AI and digital technology. So, but finally, the limited availability of skilled personnel to operate and maintain AI systems constrains long-term implementation. So these are challenges in the adoption of AI. But as we have mentioned, as we have seen in the previous presentation, there are many initiatives being undertaken by DOST PSERD. So this is a work in progress to make AI more applicable and usable in many of our industries. So in order to address many of these challenges, no, in the next slide, there are some strategic pathways for resource-trained businesses to adopt AI. So given the high implementation costs and those in resource constrained settings, can begin integrating AI by leveraging low-cost, cloud-based, and open-source solutions. Software as a service platforms provide AI-powered tools such as energy management systems without requiring large upfront investments in hardware or in-house development. There are many apps that can be downloaded. So example are open source frameworks like energy management for home assistant, offer adaptable models that can be customized to fit specific needs, including small commercial applications. And another one is businesses can also leverage partnerships with our academic universities, state universities, technology providers, government agencies through public-private partnerships for shared resources, training, and capacity building. Example of this initiative is like the Sutherland AI Academy, supported by DICT. It provides practical training in AI and cybersecurity, while the Private Sector Advisory Council is working with government agencies to fast-track the National AI Upskilling Roadmap. So there are many initiatives that's already ongoing. And together, these efforts build a future-ready workforce and ensure businesses have access to the knowledge and talent needed to integrate AI into their strategies. So for the enabling mechanisms, so government has pathways to a, these are the government pathways, some of the government pathways to a low carbon economy. We have the National Broadband Program, the Philippine Digital Infrastructure Project, Open Access in Data Transmission Act, this is a law. We have the Comprehensive Infrastructure Development Master Plan and the Small Enterprise Technology Upgrading Program. So, and also we have this new law, no, itong Open Access in Data Transmission Act or the Konektadong Pinoy Act. So it simplifies the administrative registration of data transmission services. It encourages infrastructure sharing, lowers the barriers to market entry, and enhances competition and strengthens spectrum management. And the ultimate objective of this law is to improve data accessibility and affordability nationwide. So this government action provides the conducive environment or enabling mechanism to facilitate the adoption of AI and other digital technologies. So another one is specifically this one, small enterprise technology, specifically for our MSMEs. This one is a program of the DOST, and it provides financial and technical assistance to MSMEs. So in its current version, the Setup 4.0 is helping many MSMEs adapt Industry 4.0 technologies, including AI. So next slide is on some of the government-led RE integration projects supported by AI and smart technologies. So one is the Smart and Green Grid Plan, SGGP. It will modernize the transmission system to enhance efficiency, reliability, and large-scale renewable energy integration. And it is expected to be launched in October this year. And another one is the Smart Grid.ai project in Iloilo City, a collaboration between the DOST, Iloilo Science and Technology University, and the distribution utility More Power. This project applies AI to optimize power distribution management, improve the efficiency of electricity flow and reduce system waste, serving as a real-world model for other regions. And for the private sector, in the next slide, these are some of the current initiatives that we are familiar, For Meralco, it uses a smart grid 4I framework: integration, innovation, intelligence, interoperability with AI for real-time monitoring, control, and forecasting of distributed energy resources like rooftop solar. So aside from that, Aboitiz Power is also using AI-powered control center for 28 renewable facilities. Efficiently, it uses AI with digital twins, LiDAR, and ERT data to predict geohazard risks and ensure hydropower asset reliability. So next slide. These are some of our recommended or potential areas for collaboration with industries, businesses, and the private sector to help accelerate this transition. So for the part of the government, we have this program we call the PCB, Program Convergence Budgeting, on the Sustainable Development Goals. So this one is led by our department through the DBCC Subcommittee on SDGs. It serves as a financing mechanism to align many government resources with the country's SDG priorities. So it strategically funds programs and projects that address regressing or lagging SDG indicators, including expanding access to affordable and clean energy, and also climate action. So the idea in this PCB is to make sure that the government resources are harmonized, integrated, and there's no duplication, there's no waste of people's money. So such that the implementation of programs will really deliver the intended results for SDG, including climate action and also affordable and clean energy. And the private sector can also many MSMEs can also take the opportunity to avail of the Dev Innovation Grants Program. So both public and private entities, including NGOs, startups, academe, and research institutions, may access funding to pilot, test, or scale innovations that contribute to achieving SDG 7 and the broader national clean energy transition agenda. For example, one MSME would like to develop or pilot a new AI-driven technology for the energy sector. They can avail of the Dev Innovation Grants. I think every year there is a call for proposals around May or June. At the middle of the year, there's a call for proposals. And then right after that, like for example, this year, we are now in the stage of granting the assistance. So unfortunately for this year, closed na yung innovation grants. Baka next year, or those who are interested can avail of that. And then for another one is for, in addition to the domestic policies, so the Philippines is also leveraging national and international finance mechanisms to fund RE and energy resilient investments. This may be accessed by the Department of Energy in partnership with other government agencies such as the CCC, and for the private sector to pursue innovation in the key sector. Key funding sources include the Renewable Energy Trust Fund, the Green Climate Fund, the Global Environment Facility, Adaptation Fund, Climate Technology Center and Network, and the Loss and Damage Fund. So I'll stop my presentation there, no? So that's the last slide. And as I mentioned in my opening presentation, that the PDP has already been updated, and you can visit the DepDev website. You can download it and try to see which possible strategies that your sustainability initiatives can serve as entry points in your company's operations. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much. Thank you, Director Rory. Interesting perspectives on where we are on our national strategy on climate change, especially in the specific context of steering so many industries in the Philippines toward low carbon pathways now with AI and data analytics, which makes your presentation actually a really good supplemental presentation to Dr. Parinit's talk, because it really shows how AI and data analytics help Philippine businesses and industries not just thrive in terms of competence and efficiency, but also to help them stay responsible and sustainable. So, again, to our audience, make sure to check out the Philippine Development Plan updated mentioned in Director Rory's presentation. I believe the SNAP team has already put the link in the YouTube live stream chat box. So, check that out. But it's also available to the public on the official DepDev website. That's depdev.gov.ph, to see where your specific industries can contribute in achieving our national climate goals. I believe there are also innovation grant programs available, although for this year it's already closed. So, but make sure to check the website for important resources like that. To our audience, we would like to remind everyone that you can ask your questions and comments and suggestions to both our speakers through the Slido link. And we shall have our Q&A portion shortly after this. I just need to hand over virtually, of course, the certificate of appreciation to Director Rory. Please stay put as I read your certificate. SNAP Group awards this certificate of appreciation to Director Rory J. Santa Catalina Dacumos for sharing his invaluable contribution as a distinguished speaker at the SNAP Conversations 2025 Smarter Sustainable Operations, given this 9th of September 2025, signed, of course, by SNAP's Vice President, Mr. Senen Fenomeno, and SNAP's President and CEO, Mr. Joseph S. Yu. Again, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we will be accommodating the questions from our audience. To those who haven't submitted, again, you may still send your questions, comments, suggestions, reactions via our Slido link. So you can do that while I introduce our moderator for the question and answer portion. All right, so our moderator is a certified public accountant with a rich background encompassing audit, finance management, project management, and information technology. As the Chief Information Officer of SN Aboitiz Power Group, she is at the forefront of the company's digital transformation journey. She spearheads initiatives in data science and AI, while also ensuring robust IT operations and cybersecurity. Her unique blend of expertise in both finance and technology management has been pivotal in her leadership, enabling her to not only envision, but also implement cutting-edge solutions. She is a true catalyst for inspiring innovation and driving process improvements within the organization. She championed and pioneered SNAP's data science upskilling program and citizen developers program, initiatives that have empowered employees and led to the successful execution of several key projects, yielding substantial cost savings and significant operational enhancements. Beyond all of these corporate achievements, she is also dedicated to nurturing future technology managers as a part-time professor at UP Diliman's Technology Management Center. And above all of that, she is also a certified health and life coach, reflecting her commitment to holistic well being. Everyone, I am super proud and honored on a personal level because I know her as a good colleague to turn you over to Snap's Chief Information Officer, Miss Maria Teresa, or as we fondly call her in Snap, Miss Mitch Cabigan.
Thank you, Jane. And good afternoon, everyone. So it's my pleasure to be moderating today's Snap Conversations. Thank you again, Dr. Enrico and Director Rory, for joining us today. Before we open the floor for questions, I'd like to share my overall understanding of what you both presented. Dr. Enrico, thank you for that compelling overview of the Philippines' national initiatives in AI, data science, and analytics. Your presentation highlighted the country's strategic efforts to use these technologies for sustainable growth across industries, even with the Philippines lagging in the 2024 Global AI Index. The plan, which aims to make the Philippines a leading AI innovation hub in the ASEAN region by 2040, focuses on building strong infrastructure, developing a skilled workforce, because I'm actually a believer of citizen development, and promoting innovation and even creating an ethical governance framework. And I especially appreciated the part where you shared the key initiatives and the projects that led by DOST and its partners, like increasing computer capacity and developing AI-driven solutions for agriculture, disaster risk reduction, and public services. And I'm so happy this comprehensive approach involves many government agencies and the private sector, and showing a united effort to create a future-ready and tech-enabled Philippines. And for Director Rory, we also heard from you that you outlined the Philippines' approach to addressing climate change and transitioning to a low carbon economy. And you also explained that the Philippines is highly vulnerable to climate related disasters, despite its minimal contribution to global greenhouse gas emissions. So it's good to know that the government has a policy framework in place, including the Philippine Development Plan. And so Director J also detailed the challenges to AI adoption and strategic ways to overcome them. So as well as the potential areas for collaboration between the public and the private sectors to access climate finance and other resources. So thank you also, Director Ray, for that insightful overview. So now, this is a unique opportunity to engage directly with two government agencies at the forefront of this movement. So whether you're a business leader, an innovator with a new idea, or simply passionate about a sustainable future, your questions are what will make this discussion truly dynamic. But since I'm the moderator, I have the honor to ask questions. So I hope Dr. Eric and Dr. Director Rory, if you allow me. So this is for Dr. Eric. Considering the Philippines ranking in the Global AI Index and the ambitious 2040 vision, I'm curious, how does the OST plan to ensure that the average Filipino, particularly those in non-tech savvy industries or rural areas, directly benefits from or participates in this AI-driven future rather than being left behind? So I'm curious, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mitch, for that question. First of all, as outlined in the workforce development slide that I've shown you earlier, which is actually a priority, it takes actually a top seat in the hierarchy of priorities that we have insofar as AI strategic development is concerned. So that means that we need to not only scale the level of workforce know-how and development, but also making sure that there's a very broad range of understanding and application among our citizens. So I mentioned earlier that one of the primary goals of the workforce development is to actually put out a literacy campaign, no, in all of this. This could be actually be some kind of a seminar that could be held for even ordinary citizens. No, they don't need to actually have some kind of credential in order to learn how to basically apply AI, and how to learn also the limitations and the possible implications of sharing data with AI tools, for us to be able to actually be as pervasive, no, for the technology to be pervasive as much as possible. At the same time, it is also going to look out for possible um, consequences, untoward consequences of AI, because we also want to explain people that, you know, it's not going to be a panacea, it's not going to be an end-all solution for all the problems that an individual has, in fact. But at least it presents a very good understanding of the basics, also the applications to, you know, to the life of ordinary citizens, whether you're a student, you're a worker, you're a mom, you're a farmer. You always need to get good knowledge. But I mentioned earlier that some of a very severe limitation of global AI solutions that are out there is that they're highly, how do you say, globalized. So that means it's the range of knowledge is very broad. So we need to somehow localize this, and one way to do that is to actually, you know, create a sovereign AI platform that's actually filled with a lot of local content. So that means the local content could be, you know, products of researches, writings, books that came from local authors, local content creators, if I may use that term in the very broad sense. No? And this will, I think, empower more our citizens, because they're, you know, the kind of material that they will be getting from their AI platform will now be very specific and somehow relatable to what they need or what they want in a given region, for example. Because I think that's where you really have the term meets the road, as they say. You know, you really have this application of not only the tools, no, but also the content or the data that comes with it. That's how we intend to spread it. The I think the target that we set, there's something like 1 million in the next 3 years. 1 million should be literate enough, because they will serve as your basic ambassador of what AI is. And the expectation is that that knowledge will quickly spread all through the community and the immediate environment where that, you know, the initial set of learners will be. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Enrico. You mentioned about really empowering the citizens. I'm curious as well, how do we prepare to ensure that citizens will be using this responsibly?
As was mentioned, one of the broad goals also of the AI is to come up with sets of policies for responsible and ethical use of AI. Let me just share a very brief story. It's already identified as one of the priority areas for development insofar as AI research is concerned. But when we put out the call for proposals, we did not actually receive very good, or we did not receive any proposals at all. And one of the reasons why is that we realized that AI technologists, AI scientists, and researchers are not yet into that space as yet. So we said, well, why don't we engage those that are into this realm, those that are involved in policy development, those that are involved in legislation, those that are involved in, day-to-day operations, to let them know and also contextualize what the need is in terms of trying to put some kind of guide rail into how we should use AI and how we should develop AI. So you could actually, differentiate this into two areas: the ones that are actually coming up with the tools, coming up with the applications, and with those that are actually just directly using this for their purposes. So I think one of the the outcomes that we need to have are, maybe sets of policies that will enable not only the user to become more confident that they need, sometimes you second guess whether you're doing something good or something out of bounds or not. On the part of the developer, they need to have also some kind of assurance that what they're doing is actually just and fair to all, as they are also, moving about their innovative pursuits, right? I think there should be an opportunity for them, something like a sandbox, as they call it, no? You have this opportunity to actually play around with the technology just enough for you to be able to bring it to a level of maturity, but assured with the fact that you are actually protected in a way, and as well as those whose data had been used. So that's actually an interplay between data policy and of course the fair use policy. I think we're here in, for example, in DUST, we've come up with like 10 principles of how 10 principles on how AI could be used across different functions within the organization. Like, for example, if you're a researcher, if you're a technologist, if you're a service provider, there are some things that you should remember. We don't like employ, or how do I say, prescribe a step-by-step procedure, no? But rather, these are key principles. For example, human-centered decision making. You should have a understanding. Everybody should have understanding that at the end of the day, it's the humans that are making decisions, sort of like that, no? So that will put actually more confidence as well as more responsibility on the person as they either deploy, apply, or develop, or even use this AI and AI application. So that's how we're seeing it. Really, a broad policy development. I'm imagining this to be used across all government agencies. I can imagine maybe SN Aboitiz would have its own set now of policies to govern the fair use of AI, and I imagine this. And I'm not sure whether some kind of legislation. I've seen like 13 to 15 bills pertaining to AI. So this is really like a hot pursuit, but at the same time, we're making sure also that this will not stifle innovation. This will not in any way marginalize any community. So I think, I've mentioned some of the initiatives that we already have. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Dr. Enrico. Yes, we do have our own AI policy as well, to make sure that people will be well. We want people to use AI responsibly, right? So thanks for that. And for Director Rory, your presentation actually highlighted the Philippines' vulnerability to climate change despite its low contribution to global emissions and the significant economic losses already incurred. So given that the Philippines ranks among the most climate vulnerable nations and is currently facing intensified weather patterns, and that impacts, these are impacts as well of global warming, a crucial part of the national strategy is to leverage AI and smart technologies as you presented. My first question is, considering the recent climate related challenges in the Philippines, such as the increased frequency of extreme weather events, how can the strategic pathways of AI adoption that were discussed, particularly leveraging open source tools and public-private partnerships, be scaled to effectively protect the country's most climate vulnerable sectors, such as agriculture and coastal communities?
So thank you, Mitch. No? So on the part of government, I think Dr. Paringit has shown in his presentation the use of AI in the weather forecasting. So that's one of the initiatives that may improve the accuracy of our weather forecast. So that's that initiative is intended for as an early warning mechanism. So for that initiative, it will influence behavior of people, businesses to harness or to apply this early warning mechanisms to their decision making for their business operations, for even regular people for their daily decisions, no, day-to-day life, no. So that's one on the government side. Now, on the part of the business and the other economic actors, no, they can leverage that AI also to improve their business decision making. So that's those are possible pathways for.
Yeah. Thanks, Director Rory. All right. So thank you for sharing your thoughts. I think we can go to the questions in the Slido. Can we have the? All right. So we have a question here that connects corporate responsibility with national strategy. So I think this is for Dr. Enrico. What should business leaders prioritize today to align their corporate sustainability targets with the government's national AI strategy?
Yeah. Thank you, Mitch. Maybe my suggestion is for business leaders to come up with a plan of how they will actually harness the workforce, because the workforce development is not just for the government. Remember that it's for everyone. So I think one of the trivia about this NAISP is that it was triggered by a clamor which from a direction which was provided by the PISAC, the Private Sector Advisory Council, wherein they suggested that we should have a strategy for workforce development in AI. But our good secretary responded that yes, we're willing to provide support to make this workforce development happen, but at the same time we need plans also coming, and assurance maybe coming from our businesses that they will utilize, that they will deploy, and that they will that they have actually a strategy to how to say integrate this knowledge, this tool, this know-how in the respective organizations. I mentioned earlier about Sparta. That was like a data science and analytics training program that catered to everyone. You have students there, faculty members from universities, even workers already in industries and in businesses. But one of the observations that we have from a survey that was conducted among trainees, they said they couldn't and they wouldn't use the tools that they learned because there was no deployment strategy. So we need some kind of strategy from each and every organization that will undergo that training at those different levels. So I think that will somehow promise. It's not automatic that you get into training, then you come back, you already have what you're going to do, right? You need to have some kind of strategy. So in fact, one of the things that we're also carving out of that workforce development is to also have some kind of a, how do I say, a business leader, a brief orientation or seminar or run through of the AI, so that they will also be appreciative of what it can do. They don't necessarily have to drill down to details. But actually they will appreciate where it can be used, so that when they engage with their trainees, when they come back to report for duty, they will be able to find some ways and plans for them, so that they can apply what they have learned in training. So that's how I see it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Dr. Enrico. I do agree that especially for since I'm a proponent of development, AI development as well, and we have our own data science upskilling program, it's really important that we are able to provide an environment for this, developers to have a practical application of what they have learned. So thank you, and I support that, to really come up with a plan for the workforce development. Okay, let's go to the next question. All right, I think this is for both panelists. What's one innovation being practiced globally that you believe could work in the Philippines if adapted locally? Maybe Director Rory, you can start.
So innovation in terms for the use of AI, or
Yes.
so yung the two things that I highlighted in my presentation is yung the use of AI for the smart grids, no. So that's one of the globally successful models for the integration of AI in the power and energy sector. And we are currently starting on that. So both the government side and the private sector side have started their initiatives on that. So I mentioned about the use of AI for the smart and green grid plan, expected to be launched this October, and also the smart grid AI project in Iloilo City. So those are some of the best practices that we can say globally that we can maximize here. And in fact, as I mentioned, also Meralco and Aboitiz Power have also started using AI in their operations for their RE facilities. So those are just some of the innovations that we can upscale here in the Philippines, no. So noting that we have just started doing this, so it would make sense to really expand and apply this to other areas within the country. So that's we hope that with the right policies being implemented by the government, it provides a conducive environment to really promote this kind of private and public sector investments and partnerships.
Yeah. Thanks, Director Rory. Yeah. Any insights as well for Director Enrico on
maybe a
Oh, yeah,
short addition to that. I think we're excited with the I am also excited about the smart grid project, no, because I think it also impacts a lot of communities, as well as the degree of, how do you say, convergence that different different parties have or stakeholders have in that. And I think that's really the point, no? Trying to make sure that everybody knows what the technology can do for them on these different sectors. If you're a community, you know that you'll get your electricity. If you're in the power business, you know that you will be able to provide it more efficiently. If you're from government, you ensure that resources are being distributed right. So maybe just to add to that is there's also value in trying to maybe integrate technologies, not just one. I mean, you may have AI, but you lack elements of digitalization, for example. So we need to make sure also that all the things that we now do are connected to the internet, are being recorded, so we can use this kind of data in order for us to make analytics out of it and create use case models for which AI is very good for, right? They may be able to provide insights and prescribe probably actions moving forward that will meet optimization requirements of all the stakeholders concerned, not just one. So that's probably one of the things that we need to recognize, that it's not just us, it's not just one department maybe in government, but it's going to be us integrating with each other, or in terms of data, in terms of systems, in terms of processes, and even in terms of policies, where we should be recognizing that we're all in this together. So maybe there's also some kind of technology that will enable us to connect with each other in each other's system, in terms of data and systems, and of course in terms of goals. So that's what I see as a good opportunity that we could adapt as a matter of practice.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Enrico. With today's technology, I think everything is possible to integrate. Yeah. Thanks.
Standards is actually a very good standards is I mean, to be interoperable, you need standards so that we could work together.
Definitely. Right. So we go to the next question. So in what ways can artificial intelligence enable or at least hasten the effective implementation of freedom of information laws? Dr. Enrico?
Well, there isn't a specific law yet on freedom of information. I believe there's an executive order that was signed. That's why you have a freedom of information portal. That's where you can actually request certain data sets in government. Recently we put out it's not really new, but we put out actually a sort of an article about our initiatives towards adoption of blockchain. And blockchain, IoT, and AI could actually be a good combinations of these technologies that will enable things. No, for example, a blockchain will allow you to tag each and every line item in government, in budget in particular, so that you know where it's actually going. And then you can use then this kind of data in order to monitor its implementation. You can use this to actually link it with other blockchains, for example, that indicates the level of supply of raw materials, for example, or of inputs in order for a project to foster. You can do it in construction, you can do it in infrastructure, cover school building, or production or materials for producing food for nutrition, no? So these are some of the, I think, elements that will enable us to effectively implement projects, because there is now a chain of evidence leading from the plan that was set forth, or even triggered by policies that came before that. And then you have tracking of the implementation of each and every project. And then you also have a system where you are able to monitor and evaluate projects and initiatives, no? All of it are actually good elements that you will now use in order to review performance as well as effectiveness of different projects. So that's what I'm sure that the aim really of the FOI initiatives is to ensure that we are accountable for each and every funds that are spent from government initiatives. So by making sure that data is made available at the various stages of implementation or preparation of projects and making it available to the public, that will enable them to actually make a sense. And AI can do that, whether something is fair, something is performing, or something is something is weird, if I will use that term, about certain initiatives. So that is the way how I see it right now. There's greater participation now among citizens in the affairs of their government, primarily because they are, after all, the recipients, no, or the beneficiaries of these initiatives.
Can I add to that?
Yes, Director Ari.
For me, the most immediate benefit of using AI for FOI, is it will speed up the delivery of information. So noting that for several FOI requests through the FOI portal, it might take some time before the response comes back to you. But with the use of AI and other AI tools, we can easily organize all the available information on the government side. Say, for example, in one government office, you arrange and organize all your data such that for all FOI requests, it can be delivered immediately. So that's one main benefit that I see, that that can hasten the effective implementation of FOI through the use of AI.
Yeah. It would be really nice if we have that initiative in government where there's a specific AI where we can ask information about all the data in the government. All right, so I think we're down to our last two questions. Can we have the next question, please? Okay. All right. So with great power comes great responsibilities. These AI tools can also be used with bad intentions. So how can we prevent this to be abused badly? I think we talked about the responsible use of AI, but maybe you can expound more, Dr. Enrico.
Well, I mentioned before that the key is to put out policies in place. I mentioned that this could be, in broad strokes, and then, that can be further developed as more agency specific or more, how do I say, institution specific mechanisms or processes or steps that workers, no, or members of that organization or institution can abide by. And I think that will be a good foundation for ensuring that the tool and all of the elements that came into making that tool available is used fairly and responsibly and ethically. I think well, as a research organization, as a scientific organization, we're all for making sure that it is fair, but we also, as I said, we do not want to hamper the growth of the science of AI. We don't want to stifle the possibilities for AI to be more more responsive and more enabling for people. So we want to really expound on the value, but at the same time, if we have a clear set of rules by which we can use the AI, particularly the data which we use to train the artificial intelligence to embed or to use as part of the foundational models, we will be equipped with that with that uh the possibility that it will not be abused, as we know, as we are already experiencing right now, no, because I think before we did not have that kind of vision. We were just too excited with the opportunities that it presented. So I think that's one of the elements that we need to include. We should think about the possibilities, but we also should think about the broader goals of AI and try to examine all of the proposed policies and see whether there are common things that we could apply that across different agencies and institutions. We don't want to be particular to any one, no, kasi there's really, variations of this depending on the organization which we or you belong. But we would like to have, at least a common understanding and take one institution at a time for them to craft something that is fair, reasonable, and appropriate in their institutional context. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Enrico.
Can I add to that?
Okay. Okay, Dr. Rory.
In terms of policy, we have this National Innovation Council. So it's an interagency institutional arrangement, and DOST is a member of that. And they have been one of their discussions include about ethical AI governance. No? So it's soon to be policy to be released, no, but fortunately I'm happy to say na it's within the radar already regarding ethical AI governance.
All right. Thanks for sharing that, Director Rory. We don't have time for more questions, so I would like to thank again. I will close the panel discussion now, and thank you again, Dr. Enrico and Director Rory, and to our audience for a very engaging and insightful discussion. So I have learned a lot from today's discussion, and I hope everyone is now equipped with key takeaways that you can apply to your own business or field. So back to you, Jane.
Hi, thank you so much. Even I became part of the audience during the discussion, a really engaging exchange. Thank you so much. Thank you again to our speakers and, of course, to Snap's very own Sir Harold and Miss Mitch. And thank you to all of you watching right now on the YouTube live stream. We hope you found today's session enlightening, informative, and, of course, enjoyable. With that, allow me to formally conclude our event for today. We are anticipating more Snap conversations to come for the rest of the year, so stay tuned for those. And Snap will be sending a feedback form for this episode. You guys can suggest topics through that form, topics that you would like to hear about in our next sessions. A copy of the presentations will be provided to those who complete the survey, so make sure you do complete the survey. And for future episodes and other updates about Snap, and its solutions, its services, our projects, and even career opportunities, you may visit our website, snaboitiz.com, and follow our official LinkedIn account, SN Aboitiz Power Group. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for your time today. Once again, I am Jane Consolacion of SN Aboitiz Power. Have a good day and have a great week ahead.
Thank you.